Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm doing my very first story time video about the time I got trapped underground on a Disneyland ride, which sounds so crazy when I say it, but it's actually exactly what did happen. I have these ears to prove that I really did go, although it actually doesn't prove anything because I bought these from Target like next to Disneyland. So I will tell you the story. So this happened in Disneyland, California. Obviously I'm from Australia. My best friend and I took a trip to America at the end of 2018, last year, and we were there for a month. So we first landed in LAX and we stayed in Santa Monica for 5 days. Then we went to New York for 12 days over Christmas. Then we went to Washington DC, San Francisco, Hollywood for like 5 days, and then just the last 2 days of the trip we like didn't have anything else to do in the general like LA area, so we planned to go to Disneyland. Neither of us were like super sure about Disneyland because we're not like super into rides and roller coasters or anything like that, and I'm also not like a huge like animated movie fan. Like I'm not crazy about Disney, but I just thought it would be like a cool place to go, and we just like wanted to go and see what it was like, take some photos, and just like, I don't know, they say it's the happiest place on earth, and literally it is the happiest place on earth. It was just so cool. But anyway, this was our first day at Disneyland, and the lady told us to go early in the morning, especially if you wanted to just get some good photos and stuff, because then there's not as many people there. So we rocked up at like 8 AM or whenever it first opened. We were like amongst the first people there, and it was kind of like rainy and overcast, so I think that like deterred a lot of people from going. And we were literally just there, we're like, oh, it's not going to be the best day for photos anyway, so let's just go and have like a look around. And then the very first thing we went on was like a little canoe, I guess, through like this fake little river, and there was nobody there. We were the only two on this canoe thing, so we're like, okay. And the lady was like going through all the, you know, jokes that they have to say while they conduct the ride and everything, and I think it's literally for kids, but this is how like, this is how pathetic we are. We're going on like this kids ride, and it was like through like Indiana Jones land or something, so like a fake crocodile would like come out and both of us would scream, and the lady was just like, oh my god, like you could just anyway, that's us, like we're like scared at this like kiddie ride. Anyway, so we got off that and we're like, what's to do? Like it's 8 AM, like what is there to do? And so I guess we're in Indiana Jones like land or whatever, so there's like a few different rides and stuff. Anyway, there was this one ride and it has like the wait time, and it said like 5 minutes or something like that. Like there was no lineup, and they told us to expect like 1 hour lineups. And so I was like, oh, should we just check this out? And when we bought our tickets to go to Disneyland, we talked to the lady for a while, and she like circled all the rides that like we'd be able to go on, because like I said, we're super chicken and just like not into scary rides. And so she circled a few that like would be okay for us, and I'm like, oh, do you want to just like go and check it out? And my friend was like, oh, I don't know about it, and you had to kind of like go underground through like a tunnel to get to the ride. So I'm like, let's just go and check it out. And so I convinced her to take me down there. Also, I forgot to mention that she took me in a wheelchair because, I don't know if you know, but I can't like walk very far since I've been unwell. So she literally took me in a wheelchair across America for a month. So she's like the most amazing friend in the world. Anyway, here I am convincing her, let's just go check out this ride. And so she's wheeling me down this like underground tunnel to get to this ride, and we're kind of judging off everyone that's coming off the ride's face, like, is it scary? And we're like asking people, excuse me, is this ride scary? Is this ride scary? And then like some people were like, oh no, it's okay, but it's not scary. And then like other people were like, oh my god, that was so scary. But if you don't know them, you can't like judge what's scary to one person and what's scary to you is like two different things. So anyway, we're kind of judging, and then like a couple of times we're like, nah, let's not do it. And then I'm like, oh no, let's do it. And then I'd be like, no, but we'd already kind of committed to go and check it out. and we're asking the guy like, oh, what's it like? But I don't know, I feel like they try to surprise you. I don't know, in Australia, if you go to any theme parks or anything, I feel like they show you the best part of the ride, like when you're walking past, so you get like drawn into it. But there I feel like they concealed like the scariest or the coolest parts of the ride so that you'd get like a surprise when you went on it. So like any roller coasters that didn't look too bad, the worst part would be the part that you can't see from the outside. So anyway, we're asking the guy how it is, and he's like, oh yeah, no, it's a bit like rocky, but it's fine, like it'll be fine. Anyway, so I convinced my friend, she agrees, we decided to go on this Indiana Jones ride. My camera literally just died at the most crucial bit, but anyway, so we get on the ride. It's already pretty dark down there because we've already gone like underground a fair bit to get on the ride. So it's kind of like a carriage with like maybe 6 or 7 other people. So Emily and I are in the front row. I think it's just like 2-person wide. And then the ride takes off. It's not like super scary, but it's kind of like fast, and it just gets really dark inside. Like there's areas where it's dark, and then there's parts where it's like pitch black, like you literally can't see anything, and it's like going down further and further, like underground, and there's just like things jumping out at you, like things that scream at you, and then like there's like flames go off like of fire in front of you and everything. So we're just kind of like, I'm just feeling like tense, but I'm not like frightened like crazy, but it's just like a good amount of scary, if that makes sense. So we're going on the ride and everything. We've done like a fair few like drops and unexpected turns and everything, which is just like more scary because it's dark and you don't see it coming. So that's basically like what's been going on. And then all of a sudden we like keep going down, like all this stuff's been happening, and then the cart just like pulls up and just stops. And as soon as that happened, like that's when I was like frightened straight away, because you know on any ride like that, like when it stops, that's when you're about to like zoom backwards, drop down, like something that you're not expecting. So I'm just sitting there just like waiting for like what's gonna happen, and then like nothing happens. So we're just kind of like waiting, and we're just stuck, like we're just sitting there. So my friend starts to be like, Sarah, I think the ride's broken, I think we're stuck. And I was like, no, like don't worry, I don't think so, like maybe this is just the end of the ride. Like I was thinking maybe that, you know, they've just had like a backup and we're just like waiting to like go into the end of the ride. It was dark, you couldn't really see anything except like in the distance there was like a little green like exit sign, so I guess like if something like this does happen. So anyway, I was like, I think this is just the end of the ride. She's like, no, it's not. And time was going on, I started to realize like, no, it's not just the end of the ride, like something actually is wrong. But she was like starting to like get a little bit more worried, so I was just kind of like, don't worry. And like it was dark, and then you could see like up above to the left there was like another cart stuck up there, and like every 5 minutes the flames of fire would like go off again, and that's when you could see them, because other than that it was just like pitch black down there. You couldn't see anything. When like the flames would go off, that's when you would like sort of light the place up, and you could see that there was like other carts stuck as well. Anyway, so we just kind of waited there, and it was probably like 10 minutes had gone by, and something came over the speaker and announced that the ride was broken, and just to like stay in your seat. So that's when like we knew that we were like stuck down there. This lady eventually, after about 20 minutes, she had to walk through the entire ride, and so she like went to other carriages that were like up above us. The lady came to us, and she didn't really give us any more information. She just said like that the ride is broken, but they're working on fixing it, it won't be long, whatever. So that was good. I'm like, we were pretty at ease at that point. My main concern was like that we were going to have to get off the ride and like walk back out of the ride, like walk back to the beginning, and we'd come like a long way, and I knew that I couldn't do that. So that was like my main thing, was that I was going to be stuck down there because I can't get off this ride. Unless they can bring the wheelchair down, which is just then going to be like this big ordeal and so embarrassing. That was like my concern, is like if they need us to like walk back to the start of the ride, like I can't do that. So when the lady came and said to stay put and they were going to fix it, that was pretty good, and I was like fine, I wasn't worrying really. There was probably like maybe 6 or 7 other people on the ride, and I don't know, it was more like awkward because it's just like pitch black and like we're all just sitting there waiting to be rescued. But I don't know, if you were like claustrophobic, that it would probably be like more scary, or if you're like really afraid of the dark. I am like actually a little bit claustrophobic, but it was mostly dark and it was underground, but it wasn't like a super tight space. Like it wasn't, the cave wasn't just around us, it was like 2 or 3 stories high. And then even though we were underground, it was kind of like a man-made structure, so you're like underground that they'd built. It wasn't like you're a miner trapped like under rubble that could just like fall or, you know, trap you in there. So like I knew we were going to get out, wasn't a big deal, but it was just like so ironic in a way that we're not really big on rides. This is the very first ride that we go on at Disneyland. Can't really count the canoe that we went on through the river. This is like the very first ride. We get stuck on it. It was just like, it was just kind of funny more than anything. And then eventually the ride started up again and it just like didn't go back to its full speed. It just like slowly like chugged back into its station, and then we all got off. They offered us if we wanted to, we could get back on the next carriage now that the ride was working again and like not have to line up for it again. But we were like, no, I think that's okay, like we've done enough of this ride. I think we're gonna move on. So then we went and did the rest of Disneyland. So anyway, that is the story of how we got stuck underground on the Disneyland ride. It was nothing like terrifying. It was probably only like 20 minutes or just over that in total. Apart from that, we literally had the best time at Disneyland. Like it is such an amazing, happy, fun place. Like every single person there, except for like a couple of like crying toddlers, is happy. It's just like, it's just fun. And for someone that didn't even really love Disney movies or love rides, like I super enjoyed it and had like the best time. So I would highly recommend to anyone to go there. I also have a question for anyone that's been to Disneyland or is American. We ate these things that this really nice man that we met, his wife had like bought a packet for the whole family, and they were like these hot donut things shaped like a Mickey Mouse ears and face, and they were like the most delicious things ever. But being America, they had like a specific name. I don't remember what it was. I have tried to look it up and I literally don't know what they were. I thought maybe they were called like a flapjack or flatjack or something, but then I looked that up and that's like a pancake. And then ordered a donut, but they were kind of made out of like a donut thing, and they had like icing sugar. They were so delicious. So if anybody knows what they're called, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please like it and subscribe because that would really help me out. And I'll see you next time for my next video.